What is up, you guys? My name is Roman, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. And today I'm going to be watching and reacting to What If Kong Had Lightning Powers by Goji Center. I'm not sure if I've reacted to them before, but I've definitely seen their videos prior to the channel. But yeah, uh, this is based on this is just like, I guess, in the MonsterVerse. What if he had electricity powers? Because he did in the MonsterVerse, or because in the Showa era, Kong in the original King Kong vs Godzilla, he did technically have electricity powers, right? Because he was recharged by electricity and he was shocking Godzilla with his hands, albeit up close. But he did indeed have it. So I guess they're saying, like, what if he had in the MonsterVerse? But yeah, so make sure you be sure to go subscribe to Goji Center. I will link them in the description below. And without any further ado, let's lock in.
Kong is already one of the strongest titans alive in this cinematic universe. Fast, intelligent, and one of the greatest hand-to-hand fighters in the Monsterverse. But when you compare him to the other Alpha Titans, something feels missing. Godzilla has atomic breath, storms fall to command under Ghidorah, and Shimo can start an ice age at a whim. All meanwhile, Kong is tying up knots and swinging an axe. It's cool stuff, but it still falls short of devastating power, so we want more. What if Kong was subjected to evolution and his body developed a weapon of his own? How could Kong's body harness and store energy and unleash power unlike his species has ever seen? Today on Goji Center, Titanus Kong will leave handheld weaponry behind and show off his new electric powers, reminiscent of the 1962 film, but taken to the next level.
Oh, good. So you thought of it.
Not only will we showcase what this would look like, but also how it could work, using a lore-compatible explanation of how his body handles almost unlimited power, and what the effects would be of using this weapon on other titans. Goji Center presents Kong with lightning powers. So the concept of Kong having lightning powers wasn't a thing until 1962 in the film King Kong vs. Godzilla. This power isn't...
Which, fun fact, was originally meant for Frankenstein. Or Frankenstein's monster, but you know what I mean.
Something he possesses right from the start, but rather something he was given by natural phenomena. After getting knocked unconscious during the battle against Godzilla, a lightning strike hits Kong, bringing him back into the fight, but also charging him up enough to expel electrical currents into its enemies by mere contact. In today's endeavor to make Kong more powerful, we'll be doing more or less the same with Kong. But something interesting we want to point out is that prior to this film, there were no instances where Kong had any similar abilities. He was just portrayed as a large, powerful ape, and that's about it.
That's right.
Since 1962, the concept of Kong getting electrical powers has been something that the Kong fanbase has been waiting to see on the big screen once again.
Yes, yeah, by the way, I remember, on a side note, I remember seeing that, or not seeing, I remember, for some reason I had the feeling, I don't know if it was a rumor or something that I had, but either way, I had this rumor that Scar King would have electricity powers, but he didn't. I don't know why, I just thought that.
We have some optimistic news for you. The Monsterverse is the best place for this to happen again.
Oh yeah.
While it is true that in the Monsterverse, the great ape species is not necessarily known to be titans that possess any special form of bioelemental or ecology-manipulating superweapon, there are hints in the lore that permit special mutations unique to a certain great ape specimen. For instance, in the recently released Titan Encyclopedia, The Monarch Files, we are told that the Scar King was unique amongst his species in that his eyes glowed blue and he possessed a unique fur coloration.
Yeah, that's why I thought he was going to have electricity powers, because his eyes were glowing blue. That's probably why.
A mutation, or prolonged exposure to certain energy sources? That part we don't know, but it sure does lay the groundwork for our speculative power-up for Kong. If the lore permits a certain great ape specimen to adopt unique traits, then the same logic will apply here. Just like Scar King, Kong's biology will have to change a bit in order to be able to adopt new characteristics. But this isn't just any adaptation. This is energy wielding we're talking about. Kong's internal biology will have to change if he's to wield lightning without killing himself. And here's how it could happen. There are three main components Kong needs in order to effectively and safely expel this much energy without cooking himself. And we'll be borrowing some adaptations found in real-life animals. Right now.
Like electric eels?
The Monsterverse Kong is built for raw physical combat. His massive muscular build generates incredible strength and a skeleton that can withstand titanic impacts. His nervous system is likely no different than ours. The brain sends signals through the nerves, and then those nerves follow command. However, these structures are not made to generate or carry enormous amounts of electricity. If Kong suddenly produced millions of volts, the energy would travel through his body uncontrollably, damaging muscles, organs, and even worse, frying his own brain. We don't want that. So before
No, we don't.
he could ever throw an electrically charged punch or grapple, he needs to undergo serious transformation. He must turn into a living power plant. If you enjoy this content, please subscribe. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, hit that join button, where you'll be able to have access to members-only live streams, art contests with big
Yeah, guys, make sure you go do it.
prizes, behind-the-scenes info, and be a part of our growing Goji Center community. It's mad cheap, but the perks are huge. All right, that's it. So how do we turn this Kong into an electrically generating and tolerant creature? Well, we can look at real-life examples. Many of you immediately are thinking of electric eels. And yes, that is what we will be using to borrow a certain kind of cell. They already produce powerful electrical discharges using cells called electrocytes. These are pretty much tiny living batteries. But Titans need something bigger, so a creature like Kong would have to use an enormous organ running underneath the muscles of his back and shoulders,
That's right.
packed with billions of these cells. This organ really is a sort of muscle, but instead of contracting, it produces voltage. In this scenario, we'll call it the dorsal electroplax, one on each side of the back muscles. Over time, these organs would slowly build up electrical energy using nutrients from food and possibly hollow earth radiation. This is handy because in order to produce vast amounts of energy to even cause harm to another
Okay, sorry about that. My internet just lagged for a second. I guess it got shocked by electricity, lol. But anyways, let's continue.
Titan, Kong would need to eat a vast amount and a specific kind of food. Let us explain. Electricity in animals depends a lot on the minerals they eat. These are what allow the electrocyte cells to generate voltage. Electrical eels convert the food they eat, chemical energy, into electricity. And Kong would need an absurd amount of food to keep this weapon effective. So living down here in the Hollow Earth would make a lot of sense, since there are more kinds of food readily available, and if not, then just absorbing energy from radiation-rich locations might supplement. In terms of prey, Kong would have to seek out mineral-rich food and now begin gnawing on bones of titans, regularly attacking aquatic kaiju rich in sodium and electrolytes, eating the organs such as liver, heart, or even drinking the blood of the kaiju. Nothing will go to waste from now on, and we'll be witnessing Kong literally scooping up the blood of his kill in order to keep his batteries full and ready to go. So
What would he eat though? Like electric eels? I don't know. I feel like it would just be like, I mean, in the Showa era, they pretty much nailed it by having Kong get shocked by a lightning struck by a lightning struck by lightnings, and he was totally fine. So why not that? I don't know.
you could say Electric Kong is now much more Violent Kong. Not because he wants to, but because he has to. In turn, turning him into an even better fighter. There are other effects that will change Kong's body dramatically, but we'll cover those later. Right now, though, Kong now has the appropriate electrocyte cell cluster in close proximity to his arms, and his diet is now different. Now we need to prevent him from frying himself. We have the batteries. Now we need the appropriate conductive tissues, almost like biological power lines, which safely carry electricity from the storage organs in his back down to his arms. But that's just half the challenge. We need insulation. His organs, such as his heart, lungs, and brain, will now be wrapped in insulating layers of fat, and connective tissue will serve as a shield from all this energy. Now all the electricity will only travel through controlled pathways instead of spreading throughout the body. Now we're ready to deploy this weapon. And there are better ways to do this. Rather than turning into Kaiju Palpatine firing lightning bolts across long distances, the most efficient approach would be to turn his hands into bioelectrodes. Basically an organ that transfers the energy into something else.
Like we see here in the original King Kong versus Godzilla, where he does just that.
His palms and knuckles would evolve highly conductive tissues that channel electricity into anything they strike. The moment Kong lands a punch,
Isn't that, by the way, isn't that kind of what it's like with his Beast Glove or whatever it's called, his new gauntlet that he got in GXK the New Empire? Because I'm pretty sure when that hits things, anything that gives electric shocks to anything it punches and comes into contact with. So I don't know. Technically, he did have it in his gauntlet, but yeah.
or grabs another Titan, the stored electrical charge would surge into the opponent, turning this attack into a devastating punch-zap combo. Whatever he punches could potentially severely bruise or break bone. Now adding the electric punch, we're talking about violently convulsing muscles causing extreme pain. If getting
Oh yeah.
punched
Look,
by Kong hurts already, this would be
look, he did it right there. Look. He did it to the Scar King. See, there's some electricity in his Beast Glove. Like, did you not think of not that you can't make this video, Goji Center, but did you like think of this?
if getting punched by Kong hurts already, this would be 5 times more painful and damaging. Kong's stats, if this were a video game, would be the following. If his attack were at 80, it's now 160. His defense would stay the same at 60, dexterity 100, agility and speed both at 90. These are subjective numbers, just to show how much more powerful Kong's attack would be compared to before. That Beast Glove? No longer necessary. Kong's skeletal build
Right. So you're saying like if he had right, because I guess the saying is like if he had natural electricity powers. But yeah.
along his arms would adapt to being able to withstand this much power repeatedly, hardening his bone much more than before, therefore increasing his punching power. And what about muscle mass? Remember that since Kong is now eating more, absorbing more energy, and being more active, the constant strain on his muscles while hunting and moving and fighting other energy-rich titans, in combination to his higher caloric intake, would actually help Kong increase in muscle mass, at least his arms, back, and chest muscles. Not only is Kong now more powerful, he's also a bit more swole and heavier. Now known as Tonitrous Kong, or the Thundering Kong. Still measuring at 337 feet in height, but now weighing 98,000 tons, the great ape now stands level in terms of weaponry to the other titans, thanks to its devastating effects. Getting caught in the hold of this titan is seeing death in the face. Its special battle maneuvers include the Arc Hold, holding a kaiju in chokehold position, transferring millions of volts into its enemy.
Whoa, that's cool.
Using the opponent's own neck muscles to convulse so violently, the neck bones might snap themselves if held long enough.
Forget about the iconic jaw rip. He doesn't need to do it anymore. He could just tear their bones by electrocuting it.
Cranial Surge Strike, a punch packed with so much force and energy that any lesser kaiju would get one shot at if hit on the noggin. This requires Kong to use almost all of its stored energy, a high-risk, high-reward maneuver. The Earth Splitter, double slam on the floor, usually reserved to neutralize a larger amount of lesser
Shockwave.
enemies over a certain radius, reserved for clearing smaller kaiju who might be swarming him. And for his special
Like the skull crawlers.
execution finishing move, the Synaptic Crush, an electrical pulse that overwhelms the target's synapses while Kong physically restrains the head with his bare hands. Are these powers enough to defeat Godzilla? Would this level the playing field against the king of the monsters, especially if fighting on Kong's home turf? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe and get ready for more GXK Supernova content on Goji Center.
Well, all right then. You heard them. Subscribe to Goji Center. But yeah, so this was this was an awesome concept for a video. I was just looking for something to react to, and I saw this in my recommendations, so I thought I'd watch it. But yeah, uh, either way, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Possibly share it with a friend. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye bye.